some good to go back at some Oklahoma tape and try to infuse some of those concepts back from college, so you can get Baker comfortable.
Isn't that what they did with Deshaun Watson?
That's
Didn't Bill
exactly
O'Brien
what they
do that?
did with Deshaun Watson.
Because a lot of teams don't do that. Instead of trying to put the player in position to be successful, they want the player to confine to what they view as successful.
That's your North
And so, exactly, you have to create your scheme and your play calling for what your guy does well. And that's what I think, even when people break down players in the draft process, they never say, hey, this guy is a great player, but he doesn't do what I need him to do in my scheme. So I'm going to take a lesser player who fits better in my scheme because he does great what I need him to do. A lot of people don't do that. They just take the best player and they try to fit him into that little box, and a lot of guys don't fit into that box.
You're absolutely correct. To me, every player, every person can be coached. It's on the teacher to figure out which way to put him in situations so that kid can ball out. When I played in Seattle with Pete, that was his whole thing. When I came in, I remember on my visit, he was like, hey, I know you're not an isolation fullback. We're going to have you blocking half a guy. We're never going to put you in a situation where you're going to go right in and be on an isolation because we know you play fullback. Just little things like that put players in a position to be successful. I think Freddie Kitchen, he needs to go back to that Oklahoma offense to make sure Baker Mayfield is comfortable out there.
The reason I was reluctant to say what I said, or at least ask you that, is there's more tape on Baker Mayfield, so defenses are seeing. So maybe that was, and the Jets didn't have a plan for him. You remember Jamal Adams saying that. And one other thing, Freddie Kitchens, I know we're saying running backs coach and going off it. He was a quarterbacks coach in Arizona for 4 years with Carson Palmer and Bruce Arians out there. So it's not like he doesn't have any experience. But the light's on now. We'll see.
And a lot of times play callers get hidden in the running back room because the nature of the running back position is, I mean, God gave him that ability. You ain't really got to coach, but so much. At least that's the thought of when you're coaching running backs.
Wow, that's really interesting. Well,
dropping knowledge, GZ.
And let me give a big
Freddie
shout
Kitchens
out to
and Baker Mayfield today.
Hold on, we got a shout out.
I just want to shout out two really good coaches who were able to put guys in position. I mean, we had guys who couldn't play a lick, Mike Rob, but we were able to hide those guys, and those guys know who they are, so I'm not going to call the guys out, but the coaches, Raheem Morris, who's now coaching receivers in Atlanta, one of the best DB coaches, and the guy who taught him, Aubrey Pleasant, who's in that, I was about to say St. Louis. He's in that L.A. Rams meeting room with some of all those personalities, and he's able to get all those guys to jail and play good football, man. So those are two great coaches that put guys in position to make plays.
Hopefully it works out for the Browns and Baker Mayfield. It has just been just a couple weeks, and we saw Baker Mayfield come in that game and the way that he just brought that offense to life, and now all of a sudden a few weeks later everything has just fallen apart. So
fallen apart.
It's amazing what a little bit of time will do to this Cleveland